one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's go North High!
As promised, Mr. Eichelberger, here is the trophy I made for you in recognition of your class and the hard work that you've done for North High.
Daddy, why are you playing with my toys and why does it say participation good try on the back of it?
Isla, you weren't supposed to show that. Well, that was a good try, Mr. Ike, but our class is gonna win.
Good morning, North High. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mr. Warnfelds, and I'm currently involved in a can war with Miss O'Kane. For those of you who didn't notice, my boxes, it seems to be fairly full, and I think it's been dumped a couple of times. At first, this seemed like a really good idea, to be matched up with a prestigious, well-known Miss O'Kane. I figured I had probably no shot. But I've recently found out that I actually have pi times as many cans as Miss O'Kane. And it just, to me, that just seems so irrational. Hold on one second, because this is getting a little hard for me. See, Miss O'Kane and I go back a long way. And to be dominating her this bad in this event, sort of breaks my heart. If you would look here, here's a picture of a younger Miss O'Kane. Now, the two gentlemen that you see there, you might think that is myself, and for those of you that are juniors and seniors, Mr. Grove, but actually that is my great-grandfather, Delano Warnfelds, and Mr. Grove's great-grandfather, Alexander Douglas Grove. You see, way back in one of Miss O'Kane's first careers, in the summertime, she decided to follow a very famous rock band around the country. That rock band was the Pythagoreans. Okay, during that time, she hung out with a lot of famous mathematicians, Euclid, Fermat, Newton. See, Miss O'Kane, before she became our distinguished leader of our hospitality and tourism, taught math. Very outstanding mathematician. Developed many theorems, none that she gets credit for, such as the Pythagorean theorem, the quadratic formula, Fermat's last theorem. If you look, her name's not attached to any of those, but the elegance, you can see that she had something to do with the writing. So, moving forward, 2 generations, I go to high school, and I walk into a classroom, and sure enough, Miss O'Kane ends up being my math teacher. So she, over the course of the next 3 or 4 years, persuaded me that I should become a teacher. So I owe a lot to Miss O'Kane. So it sort of breaks my heart to be beating her this badly in this can war. Because the last thing I want is the person that I looked up to, my hero, my mentor, to be labeled as a loser. So here's what I want you to do, North High. Forget Mr. Ryder, forget Mr. Eichelberger, forget Mr. Heller, forget Miss Spielman, forget Miss McDonald. What I want you to do tonight is I want each of you to go home. Forget Mr. Warnfelds. I want each of you to go home, grab a can, and walk down to room 135 and put it in Miss O'Kane's box. And when you do, please look her right in the eye and say, Miss O'Kane, you're not a loser, you're really a winner. And maybe we can come out of this can war helping our community, but also making Miss O'Kane not feel like such a loser. Thank you, North High. Have a good day.
So, Mr. Ryder, how do you feel about this competition you have with Miss Matu?
Alina, I know what you're trying to do here. You want me to say terrible things about Miss Matu to drum up competition for the canned food drive. Well, I'm not doing it. Miss Matu is like my sister from another mister, okay? Granted, she's my substantially older sister from another mister. She's more like my mom, age-wise. But I'm not saying anything bad about that woman, especially because, in her condition and elderly state, I don't know if she can handle it. So all I'm saying is this. Instead of making this about Miss Matu, poor, old, decrepit Miss Matu, okay? I'm gonna make this about humiliating me, okay? Let's spare Miss Matu the agony. If I win this canned food drive, I've agreed with my classes that I will humiliate myself by shaving this beautiful facial hair into some ridiculous pattern or style. I'm thinking, I've heard so far, motorcycle mustache one day, probably pork chop sideburns. I'm willing to put this mug on the line for more needy people in the community.
First wave bus riders, buses will be leaving.
Just keep going.
I'm going. Because 30 seconds, bus riders, is plenty of time to go in your cabinets when you get home, get some of that canned food, bring it in here for more needy people. You dig? What you gonna do, Miss Matu? Sorry, was that too loud? Could you hear that? Because I know with the old age you might have hearing issues. Live it up, everybody. Have a good day.
Baseball prospects. If you plan to try out and need required paperwork, please stop at the weight room after school on Wednesday or Friday. Tryouts will start on February 29th. Thank you.
Alright, good morning guys from the Key Club. We're just here to let you know that we're going to be selling Valentines. If you have a special somebody that you would like to let them know how you're feeling, we got Valentines you can give them.
Yeah, we will be selling them February 10th through the 13th at all lunch periods. We will deliver them the 14th. $2 for a note and candy and $1 for just a note.
Yeah.
We are still looking for volunteers for the Princess Party. Please see Miss Forrest in room 101 if you would like to help. SSL hours will be given. The North High Model UN will be having a fundraiser at the Green Turtle on Friday, February 7th from 11 a.m. till closing. The flyer can be found on the Class of Google Classrooms or can be picked up in room 105. Come out to support the North High Model UN.